Hello hunters, my name's Eric Termelons, and today we're going to be checking out a bounty hunter that needs no introduction, the best of the best. We're talking the most hardcore, imposing, no, not that one. This is Samus Aran, made by Bandai Spirits Chogokin line, which has made many incredible figures over the years. This action figure is going to have a ton of metal parts, plastic, lights, the works. Not all Chogokins have the lights. Some people forget to realize, as collectors, the test of time is not very generous to anything that's battery operated when they come with the batteries. I'm looking at you, House of D, Star Wars. I can't believe it. The batteries installed in there. That's just such a recipe for disaster. They can blow up, they can leak, they can do all sorts of things that will ruin your figures. However, this figure, the batteries are not included, which is actually a really good thing. Her height is scaled roughly at about 110, which means something because when stacked next to the Good Smile Company's Metroid Other M Samus Zero suit, who's 1/8, she is a little bit too tall, but it's not bad, it's close, and you could say that due to these epic heels that she's got going on, those are what are giving her the extra height. Kind of makes this off by a very small margin, where depending on the pose that you choose to put her various suit in, it does still look like it scales nicely. The Good Smile also comes with a mini Metroid that runs on a 3mm peg, so if you've got any kind of interesting stand for this, you can actually have this little Metroid posed around her, which looks really good. Full disclosure, I've never actually played Metroid Prime 4. I'm a huge Metroid fan in general. I played many of the games, but I've beaten very few of them because I just don't have the time. For most games in life, I'm spending all my time working hard at drawing. However, I have drawn many illustrations of Samus over the years, whether in this suit or mashed up with other kind of art styles or designs to create my own versions of her. Throughout its currently roughly 40-year run, we've gotten about 16 games in the franchise, and that includes side games, pinball games, and all that jazz. While I was visiting in Japan, I had gone to the big Nintendo shop over there, I believe the one in Osaka, and they had just massive sections for everything, and this tiny little line of Metroid things where they had like a reusable bag, one single Figma, and a t-shirt, and I was just so sad. Despite that, some of the Metroid things that have been released over the years are freaking incredible, like this gal over here. Some of these amiibos are incredibly impressive. This sweet Nintendo World Metroid that one could almost say is a one-on-one scale, freaking awesome. I know that recently this year they've released a couple of other knickknacks here and there. As we don't have a Lego set yet, and I'm fairly confident that the day that we do, it's going to just be a giant version of her and her armor, I decided to make my own little playset, just a cute little display. I tend to do this often with IPs that just don't have enough of what I want or exactly what I want specifically. If you're curious about this, at the end of the video, I'll be sure to do like a micro mystery secret review. It's not really a review, more like a showcase of this. So stick around if you want to see that. All right, enough sidewinding. It's time to get in on this figure. The front of the box is matte, where we've got a gloss picture of Samus over here and some reflective metallics down at the bottom. On the sides, we've got a picture of her shooting with her gun, as well as her gorgeous backside. On the back, we have all sorts of nice product shots that show in some epic iconic poses. While on the bottom, we've got some product warnings. And right here on the back, we get to see all the pieces that are actually made out of metal. While on the bottom of the box, we have this picture of her shooting you in the face, and the top shows off her crouching. All in all, the box feels quite premium, though I would have liked a window considering her cost, but I feel like I say that all the time, and I get that the whole thing has to do with saving the environment, and I'm totally for that, so I'm not going to complain too much about it. Let's get her open. The collectability! How could you, Eric? Caution instructions. Ooh, look at this fancy thing right here. Many instructions I've gotten, but instructions such as these I have rarely seen before. These are wild and all in color? What? They didn't have to do that. The amount of money that they put into printing this in color and giving it out to everybody definitely feels more premium, and I like it. But personally, I think that they should have used that money to invest in perhaps adding a little bit of color to her base plate. Surprising, there's no actual tape. I would have liked this just to be a little better piece that is going to hold her. Wow, this thing feels solid. Ooh, I actually really love this little plastic hook piece. We get these two little pegs. Oh, so close. Gundam missile. But I'm sure I could probably put this under... We'll get to that later. You can not see through it whatsoever, but it is transparent. We get a "these aren't the droids you're looking for" hand. We get a thumbs up hand. We get a power to the people hand. We then get the just like a regular generic hand. We then get a "no, don't do that" hand. But then we get a "no, don't do that, or I'll use my psychic powers on you" hand. Ooh, that is hefty. I like it. That stands up pretty good at first try here. Well, I didn't really give her a chance there, did I? And that's it for the unboxing. Pretty simple stuff. Now it's time for you to continue watching the review. Continue watching the review. Continue watching the review. This base plate is not my favorite. I think that the design is nice, really cool looking. It definitely looks like the little elevators that she'll go up and down on in like the classic Super Nintendo game. I just am not a fan of how thin the plastic is. It also has a texture on it, and not one that I'm particularly fond of. When you look up close, it looks kind of unique and I guess alien-y, but from a distance, I find it just looks like a 3D printer texture. At her price point and with the lack of real accessories that she comes with, I think that they definitely should have added some paint applications to this thing. However, it does its job exceptionally well, holding her very, very strongly. You get this wire piece that you plug into the bottom, and I feel like it doesn't snap in 100% really well on mine. The actual bar piece is really intense, solid. Then you get two little plastic piece options to put at the top that plug into her back. In order to plug the piece in the back, you're gonna see that you pop this piece out, pop her in. Just be very mindful that while she is on this, you are not to move her around. She's got metal, this thing has metal, the peg pieces are plastic. This is going to snap so fast. It comes with this cool little hooky thing that I'm probably going to be using for Transformers stuff in the future to be able to dig out transformation pieces. I thought I'd be using it on her, but I feel like I was going to scratch or damage it more than just using my own nails and being very careful. The only accessories that you get with her is an alternate cannon piece that gives you her regular cannon or her missile launcher one, while she comes with a nice slew of hands. The hands actually pop in and pop out a little too easily, but it's not the sort of thing you're going to be doing all the time. You're not playing with this character like an action figure. I would think if you are one of those people that are going to play with this often, her hand's going to pop off frequently. Probably going to lose a lot of hands. When changing the tips of her cannon, you can see that you get different colorations, where one's green, the other one's got this cool little blue, and it's really a miniature flashlight. Now, getting into the review of this actual figure, I'd just like to mention that I'm not going to go on about all the different points of articulation and pieces that move around. There's more than enough videos online of her doing that already. I review anime figures, and I'm going to treat this as such because I bought this specifically for statuesque purposes, not so much action figure and super photography purposes, despite sharing with you a whole bunch of photos that I took. So do with that as you will. Starting off with her feet, she has gunbolt metallic gray underneath. I love that we get an awesome design on them, but you gotta be careful because if you're gonna be placing her anywhere, I'm pretty confident that this can scratch off. I even have already a tiny little scratch on mine. I'm not gonna dunk on it too much because I'm rarely gonna be using the base. Kind of just gonna leave her in this pose for a very long time. We get a lovely toe joint here where it goes up into the rest of the foot. This thing is awesome. Ankle protector piece, triangle thingy that looks really good. And when you rock her ankle to the side, you can actually see that it continues the design of her internal robotic system. Her calves have such beautiful detailing to them, and despite there not being so many different color applications on Samus as a whole, I'm very happy that they did an excellent job and seemingly put the time into every tiny little piece of color that we do get on her. The purple looks vibrant and beautiful, and is contoured by a darker gunmetal gray. It's just so well done. I'm used to always seeing like a little paint blemish or just a tiny little runoff here or there, and this is something that I don't have on my figure, and she looks incredible. Going up and into her knees, this is so cool. Just a giant chunk of metal, and you get all this beautiful ridging on the knee itself. I love the idea that while she's wearing this suit, it really becomes her, and she can turn into that morph ball and do all these weird things that a normal human couldn't with their anatomy, because she kind of loses that anatomy while she's wearing it. I really love this concept. On the inside of the thigh, we have a lovely, shiny, beautiful gold, while on the outside, it's that epic orange with more purples. All of this looks really good, and what's cool is that at the very top of her thigh, there's this tiny little piece of metal that can pop outwards. This is for articulation and pose purposes. That way you don't scratch the paint, though it can be really easy to scratch her paint. When you're handling her, take your time, go easy. Unless you're one of those people that have already lost all the hands because you're playing with her like an action figure, then she's going to get more scratches all over her. But you know what? A battle damaged Samus probably is going to look like a cool Samus too. These thighs are plugged in with this other internal thigh that goes into her body. We can actually pull it out a bit, push it in a bit. This way everything just looks smoother and nicer depending on the poses that you're giving her, and it gives her a little wider range of motion. The bottom part of her torso looks nicely shaped. I know it seems simplistic from a distance, but just the curvature of the body is so perfect. And what I personally find really beautiful about this Varia suit in particular is the fact that she still looks quite feminine while wearing it. She has so many other suits where she just looks like a blocky block, and I've got no problem with that. I love that too. It's just, I like the idea that you can see her feminine proportions kind of shining through a little bit about what she's wearing here. I mean, this is an anime waifu channel, so I just have... Clearly, I have a specific taste, and if you're watching my videos, then you probably have them too. And if you're not following me and you love this sort of thing, be sure to hit that like, that subscribe, and why not that notification bell? This way you'll be notified of potential future videos that I come out with. Moving on, as we go into the back, there's actually that diamond pops out that's able to plug her into her stand. While as we go up, you can see that there's the little light switch. This piece turns the LEDs on or off just for the helmet and chest piece. We get her cool ribcage design that comes all the way across. We have multiple points of articulation here that are good, where the center part of her body, I'd say roughly where her solar plexus is, that's on this spring. It's never gonna feel like it's too beveled in while you're putting her in these different poses. The red piece for the chest at the top looks freaking awesome. Pearlescent red. We get the little cutouts here in purple that actually light up when you turn on the LEDs. Going into her back, it's just the awesome jetpack she's got. It would have been epic to have maybe little orange or yellow fog light style LEDs. It's just, it would have made it pop a bit more. This back piece actually completely plugs off to reveal where you're going to install her batteries. She takes 2 of them, and you need a miniature screwdriver in order to put them in there. Her arms are metallic pieces that we have that are all row-body and look like her inner body suit going around the shoulders. And regardless how you move her around, the way you see them looks really nice, and you can always move the large shoulder pads in a manner that kind of hides them after you've chosen the pose that you'd like to put her in. The pieces are super well sculpted, beautiful line art, as it goes all the way into the hands, where the ball joint for the hand is a metallic one. The hands are made out of plastic. While in her right arm, we have her sweet arm cannon. This thing looks so cool. All right, so I've been gushing quite a bit during this video, and it's just because I'm a huge Metroid fan, and I never thought we'd get something like this. I'm used to the Figmas, that they look nice, and some of the cheaper stuff you'll find at a Walmart, and we get amiibos every now and then. This is such a definitive level of cool for Samus that I'm very, very happy with her despite her overwhelmingly high price point. The arm cannon from the inside has this tiny little groove that you can get your finger in or use the piece that it says it comes with. This opens up, and inside you're able to install the 2 batteries. It also houses the little on and off switch. What's cool about the missiles is if you so happen to have any kind of fun effect parts at home, it just looks awesome. And now I'd say is the one main detriment I have for this figure, and that's the neck and the head. First off, I love how Bandai Spirits in their Gundam line, especially the smaller robot spirits, I love how the back has a panel that goes up and allows you to shift the head so it looks upwards, and in doing that, it doesn't mess up too much the overall shaping of the head. They didn't do anything like that here for Samus. So her neck, especially with the way her head is designed, gives you little to no range. You can debate that there's probably some wiring going through there in order to allow us to have that cute little light, and that's all fine, but I am disappointed because there's so many awesome poses that Samus takes, especially one of her most iconic ones, where her body does kind of lean forward quite a bit, and she needs to look up in order to have that really more imposing look. I guess depending on the angles you choose to take with your photography, you can make it kind of look like it, but it's not perfect. And this just because she can't lift her head higher than this. And I've tried, it just pops out of the ball socket, and I was very careful doing it. Nothing broke. I popped it back in easily enough. It's just that just a little disappointed about that. And it's one of the few disappointing things I have to say about this figure. Otherwise, she can easily turn her head from side to side. It rocks a little bit, but not too much because, again, the weird shaping to her head and the small amount of space we have based off of how her torso armor is designed. The head itself looks freaking perfect. I love the design so much. I know some of you out there are more of a fan of the green. That's definitely nostalgia, and the green does look incredible. If they come out with one in the future that's this gal, I might have to get another one. Just thinking about it sounds so expensive. But if I was stuck just having this version of her for the rest of my life, I wouldn't be complaining. I think that it looks really good, and I actually really love the purple like I had mentioned earlier, so I'm okay with it. While the LEDs are off, we get a lovely reflection. You can't really see too much about what's going on in there, and it looks so good, it represents her illustrations very well. Once you get that sweet little LED on, it creates this fun holographic looking effect. The light lights up behind the transparency she has for her face. Really does an excellent job at mimicking her reflection of her face that you get while playing the game. I think it's very well executed. And because it's Prime, the design of the eyes and everything, it looks a little more realistic, where I personally am a fan of other M's designs. I love the anime aesthetic, especially in Smash, and that's what I've been drawing most of my life, so I personally like that. Upon her release, she was going for 28,000 yen. Yup, that's a choice. Just to give you a bit of context, this is an older Macross Chogokin figure. I've quite a few of these. This one's wearing the super parts, so it's roughly valued at the same price as this. Maybe a little less upon release. This thing can fully transform. It also has an internal body robot exoskeleton. The amount of details, paint applications, and everything put into this is way, way, way beyond this Metroid figure. And height-wise, size-wise, it's just, you're getting so much more. So you're clearly paying that classic Nintendo tax just in order to get your hands on her. When I got her originally, it was from Nin Games. I love getting a lot of my mecha things from there, and I was pretty happy. I didn't have to pay any crazy custom fees when she came in, so I got really lucky on that. But if I had to, after taxes and shipping and everything, she would have come up to about probably 40,000 yen. Nightmarishly high, and I can't believe that I decided to still pull the trigger despite knowing all of this, and even though I got lucky and I didn't pay that kind of ridiculous amount, it's still a lot. To the point where after having pre-ordered her, I had almost canceled her on numerous occasions. Pricing was way better on Amazon Japan, especially in the shipping department. However, Amazon Japan is not reliable. I've ordered from them before where they would literally cancel my pre-order a day before to say, sorry, we have none left for you, when I know for a fact I was one of the first people to pre-order it on their website. It's just they're going to show priority to maybe other countries or other places before they're going to show it to me. I don't trust that, especially not if it's something I really want to get. But let's say you're able to get this figure and she cost you 28,000 yen. I think she's worth it. It's really a solid figure. She looks fantastic, really picture perfect in all the different poses you're going to choose to put her in. And if you're a Metroid fan, it's slim pickings for us. Many years ago, I had worked at an art supply store where every time I'd finish work, I'd walk by an EB Games GameStop, and they had this epic first four figure statue of Samus. I never got it. I just didn't have the cash at the time. And now all these years later, I can actually put this Samus in the same pose as that first four figure, and I think she looks way nicer within her proportions, her detail work, her paint applications, all of it. Not only does she fill up the missing hole in my heart for that Samus, but she can go in the pose from the second Game Boy game. Like, that is just, like, it's everything I could have asked for in a Samus, and so I think she's definitely worth the price. And you know how Nintendo things go. If you don't get her now, and everybody seems to be really loving this figure, then just like Good Smiles over here, she is going to skyrocket in her value. That's normally how it is. I'm not gonna say it's 100% gonna happen here. I'm not giving you any kind of financial collecting advice. Just know that the potential is there, like it is with everything else that Nintendo kind of goes with. You're paying the Nintendo tax, but it kind of pays for itself on the long term, usually. And that about sums it up for Samus Aran from Metroid Prime 4 in her various suit. If you got this figure already, what do you think about her? Have an amazing rest of your day, and I'll see you next time. Bye! Welcome to the end of the video, and my super secret showcase of my miniature little Lego diorama that I built of Samus. The concept that I wanted is that she's running towards the door that's going to lead her to Brinstar in the old Super NES game. That's why I have all the foliage. I used the collectible minifigure of this space alien. I think it just fits really well for the whole design of Metroid stuff. Designing my own miniature Metroid, I can see some of you looking at this thinking, how did he pull that off? Well, in the entire set, it's the only thing I cheated just a little bit at. Originally, I had given her the larger teeth all around. Didn't like it. I wanted to feel more like Metroid. So I actually used a regular white Lego hand here that I put a tiny little bit of sticky tack and I slid it through a 1x1 red stud stud with a hole through it. I know it's cheating in LEGO ways. It's something I've never really done before. I usually try to find ways around stuff like this, but it just looks so perfect. And I mean, I'm having this on display next to all the rest of my Metroid stuff, so what do I care? I'm not going in some LEGO design championship with this. As for Samus herself, she is 100% all natural. It's kind of weird to say it like that. Using legs from Nexo Knight, body from Wonder Woman 84. The arms are from Legend of the Monkey King or something like that. Nice orange shoulder pads. The helmet is from an older LEGO set as well. And the mask behind that is actually Reinhardt's. I saw a bunch of other people and how they built her online, and I kind of mix and match a bunch of different things based off of what I had to try and create my own look. On the ceiling, I put a couple of weird, creepy eggs and a brain monster that came in the D&D LEGO Collector Series. And I put some light piping. This way it lights up from the top, lights up from the bottom. It was really a lot of fun building this. Oh, and one last thing to mention is that I put the logo on the side. I only had pink. It would have been nice to have an orange or a red. I just don't have any at the moment. I'm definitely going to change that in the future.